Hi everyone, it is Beverly here, and we are going live today with a screen share. I hope that you're doing well wherever you are. I hope that you're having a beautiful day, and I'm really appreciative that you are joining me so that we can connect. We can talk about how to, move beyond maintenance, and we can really step into a continuous up level for ourselves. Hey Wes, what's up, friend? Hope you're good. So I'm sharing a screen share with you. This screen share is actually from my email marketing system. So this is a email that I sent to my list yesterday. So I just wanted to share this with you. This is something I wrote, and this is what I wanted to talk about today. So oftentimes people connect with me and they're really looking for a breakthrough. And what I always love to share with people is how we can empower ourselves, how we can take ownership of our own experience. This is really important to me, to actually teach people how to work their own process, right? Oftentimes we get in this rut, or we just have the experience that we have to get the thing that we want outside of us. And I always love to teach people how to work with your own internal system to create what you want to create. Okay, so with creating a personal breakthrough for yourself, the first thing I want to say is that you have to make the decision to do so. So this comes up with everything that I talk about, is there really has to be that decision within yourself that is what you want to create. And this goes with anything. If you're changing a behavior, if you are wanting to improve your relationship with yourself, if you are wanting to, see something different in your life, like a career change or anything that you really want to be creating, there has to be a decision to do so. And that might sound very simple, but it's not, right? Oftentimes we are not in alignment with what we want to create. And so you really want to start there with making that decision that you would like to see a big breakthrough for yourself. Hi, Dee. Thanks for the wave. So the first thing is to intend to have a breakthrough, right? To make that decision for yourself that you would really like to see a big shift. You can call it whatever you want. It could be a breakthrough, it could be a shift, it could be a transformation. It doesn't really matter what it's called. It's just that you have a connection to it, that you are clear about what you want to see from yourself. And then in order to really have a breakthrough, there's some things that I'm going to share here, 3 different things that generally in my experience need to be in place. And the first thing is to get challenged. And what I mean by that is that you want to have your perspective challenged. This was precisely how I entered my recovery process, is I knew I needed my perspective to be challenged. I knew I needed a new way of thinking. I knew I needed a new way of relating with the world, with relating to myself. I needed a new way of being. And so I knew if I kept the perspective that I had that got me into the situation that I was in, I knew I wasn't going to be able to sustain any type of recovery process. Hi, Nicole. So the first thing when you're wanting to really create a breakthrough, once you've made that decision to do so, is to get challenged, right? Challenge yourself. And I have found that I often can't do that for myself. So, I think that's why we love to read self-help books, and we love to dive into YouTube videos, and we love it. We love that stuff because it challenges our perspective. We get to hear a new aha or a new truth, or there's something that resonates with us on a very deep level. And so, challenging yourself is really important. And I encourage you to take it beyond just information that you're consuming, and that you really challenge yourself to create a breakthrough in your life by applying what you're learning. This is precisely why I love coaching. It's why I've been coached ever since I became a coach. It's because every time I get coached, I have a new learning about myself. I have a new insight, and I am the person that's going to apply that insight to what's going on in my life, right? And that's how I keep creating breakthroughs in my life, is because I take what I'm learning and I apply it to my life and I see what kind of results I can get. And I don't always get great results. Sometimes I get magnificent results, right? But I challenge myself to see what kind of results I can get when I start applying things that feel like truth for me. And this is why, if you have been struggling to create a shift in your life and you really want a shift in your life, you want to consider having other people challenge you, and a support person that would challenge you. And that's why a lot of people love the coaching process. Some people like to go to therapy. Some people like to, engage a coaching process. Some people like to go to a self-help group. It doesn't matter what the forum is. You want to go with what stretches you and what feels good for you. But you want to get challenged, because we can get lost in our limited perspective. And this is a really great way to have a breakthrough, is to find a support person that you can work with so that you can challenge your perspective, right? Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it. So, we've talked about you have to make a decision to have a breakthrough, and then you want to get challenged. The next thing is really taking responsibility. So this is taking responsibility for a breakthrough, right? And this one's always hard for people, because a lot of us can be stuck in victim consciousness. And I say that lovingly. I'm somebody who lived in that place for a long time, but I see a lot of people in scarcity mindset. I see a lot of people in victim consciousness. It's really, it's a common experience that we have, that we feel sorry for ourselves, or, my life has been so hard and I've had so many hardships. And I really want to encourage you to take those hardships and create a breakthrough for yourself. Because when you take responsibility for yourself about where you are now, about what you're thinking, about your self-talk, about what you're creating in your life, that is all on you. No matter what's happened to you, in the past. And trust me, I've had a lot of things I've had to work through in my past too, right? But what's been so beautiful is, even though I've had a lot of hardships, I've gotten to a place in my life where I'm all about taking responsibility. And every time I take responsibility, it creates freedom for me, because my life isn't dependent on, what happened to me or what other people are saying, or, people pleasing other people. It's really about me, and me wanting to see myself up level, me wanting to see myself continue to grow and evolve, me wanting to live the best life that I can live, me wanting to live my potential. All of that stuff is important to me. So that's why I take responsibility, because I know that there's a lot of freedom for me when I do that. All right, so make sure that you are taking responsibility for creating a breakthrough for yourself, for creating a shift. One way I love to do this is, many of you have heard me say this a million times, but it's look for the learning. So in any situation, I always look for the learning. Why? Because when I look for the learning, I'm not judging myself. When I look for the learning, I can find some golden nugget, some valuable experience that I can grow from. When I look for the learning, I stay in curiosity, I stay in compassion for myself and other people, and I have this aha or insight that supports me in growing. So that's taking responsibility. And that's how, in any situation, I know I can create an insight or awareness or, some type of breakthrough for myself almost on a daily basis. Why? Because I intend to do so, because I like to do so, because I want to do so, right? So it's that's my intention, and that's what I'm looking for, right? And the question is, what are you looking for? Are you looking for ways to justify and verify an old story that keeps you down, keeps you negative, keeps you feeling bad about yourself? Or are you looking for the learning and looking for the things that are going to help you continue to up level, to grow, to be a better person, right? That's a very different perspective, right? So Yes, when I'm looking for the learning, I'm not judging myself. Exactly, exactly. So the next thing here is stretching yourself, right? And this is very hard for us because if you are somebody that is in a recovery process from whatever, from substances, mental health, trauma, or something else, we oftentimes want to avoid pain. We want to avoid judgment. We want to avoid feeling bad, right? That's a very common human condition experience that we all have had. Totally get it, right? We don't want to feel pain. But the truth is that we can't avoid it. Part of being here in the human condition is that we are going to experience some pain. We're going to experience joy. We're going to experience love. We're going to experience disappointment. We're going to experience all of these emotions. And when you can start to accept and embrace your human condition and that that's just part of being here, then it can really open up some, well, it really, creates a lot of acceptance. And when we're in acceptance, again, we can be in a perspective where we're open. We're open to receiving the gifts that are meant to come from every experience. Right? So I want to encourage you to stretch yourself outside of your comfort zone. And again, that's why I like to do that with other people. I know that when I'm working in a group or I'm working with a coach, that I'm going to be stretched beyond my comfort zone and I'm in a safe environment. I chose to be there, right? Like I want the stretch because I know in the stretch is where the magic happens. And that's the truth. When we just stay safe, when we stay complacent, when we stay status quo, when we just stay still in our little, box and okay, I'm not moving forward, but I'm not moving back. And, it's an illusion of safety and it's keeping us small, and I know that most people don't really want to stay small. Like we are here to grow, evolve, to actualize. And I'm all about, continuing to grow spiritually, continuing to grow personally, professionally, all of that stuff. And to do that, we have to get outside of our comfort zone. And so this can create a huge breakthrough for people. I know in my experience, I have been stretched out of my comfort zone many, many times. And now I actually look for it. Now I actually invite it in. I want that experience because I know that's when I grow the most, right? So you want to just kind of ask yourself, and there's no judgment here. It's just kind of asking yourself, like, do I want to be challenged a bit? Do I want to be stretched a bit? Am I looking, for living my purpose? Am I looking for living a calling? Is that what's going on for me right now? And if the answer is yes, then, this is just right up your alley, that you want to start stretching yourself a bit with these different things of how can I create some shift, some breakthrough, some transformation for myself beyond where I am right now. And I try to do that for myself on a daily basis. That's really my intention, is that while I'm here, that I would like to continue to grow as much as I can. And I know that I have to take responsibility for that process and really engage it in order to make that happen. It's not just going to happen on its own. There will be some growth somehow, but I would much rather be intentional with my personal and spiritual growth than just sit back and have some wishful thinking and hope that it all goes down well. Wes says, I like connecting with stretching myself to creating spaciousness for myself through stretching. Spaciousness provides more possibility. Absolutely. It's a great way to put it. So I'm encouraging you today to, challenge yourself and think about some ways that you could get challenged. Think about some ways that you could take responsibility for yourself. Think about some ways that you could stretch yourself. And if, for some reason you need support with that, I want you to know that I'm absolutely here to have those conversations. I'm actually going to be having a call with somebody tomorrow who, is intending to have a breakthrough. And so I'm going to ask some powerful questions and support her with gaining some insights and awareness. So it takes that. It takes, raising your hand and saying, yeah, I do want some support with this. Instead of us getting scared and saying, I don't know what support's going to look like, or, I'm afraid of the unknown, I'm afraid. Like if we stay in that fear, that's precisely what I'm talking about. When we stay in the fear, we're not supporting ourselves in having a breakthrough that we can have. It's when we walk through the fear and we get support with the fear and we get out of our comfort zone with the fear that we actually realize that the fear is really holding us back, and the fear is just, it's so not important. It's like, you can either choose to have fear run your life, or you can just face fear head on and keep growing through it. And I have certainly had, my process with that and have felt really afraid for many years, but I still challenge myself. I still put myself out there. I still, take risks. I still say yes to things that scare the crap out of me. And how do I support myself with that? Is I get support, I work through the feelings, I acknowledge and honor the feelings, and then guess what? It's always okay. I always have a big learning from it. I always get to the other side of it. And so I want you to just hear this message today that, you don't have to let that fear run your life, and you can create a shift in your life. You can choose to have a breakthrough. You can decide that you are going to change your life and transform your life. And if you need any support with that, if you just want to have a conversation about that, or you'd like to receive some powerful questions that could help you in this exploration of what that might look like for you, I am here for that. Okay, you just need to reach out to me, and we can certainly set up a time to, have me just ask you some powerful questions so you can dive into that a little bit deeper. And then you can always decide what your next steps will be. We can certainly talk about what that might look like for you. There's all kinds of things that you can do to support yourself. And so it's just being open to what the universe is providing in front of you. There's always opportunity. And it's like, are you staying open to it? Are you utilizing the opportunities that are coming to you? Or do you continue to close the door? You continue to say no to those opportunities. And I'm certainly here to support you in saying yes to them and living life, in that sort of a way. So I wanted to share this with you today. This is something I wrote yesterday and shared with my list. This felt, just very intuitive yesterday, just kind of came through me. And I just wanted to share this with people because I want you to know you can create your own breakthrough. It doesn't have to be that there's some awful thing that happens in your life to create a breakthrough, or some great thing that happens in your life. That you can work on creating a breakthrough for yourself on a daily basis. And it doesn't have to be some big thing. There's ways to create little breakthroughs. I mean, that's what I think an insight or an aha moment really is. It's us understanding something in a different way that we then apply, and then it changes the course of our life. And that can happen with a paradigm, that can happen with an affirmation, that can happen by meeting somebody, that can happen by having a cool conversation with somebody, but you've got to be open to having those experiences, right? And if fear is running your life, you're most likely not going to be open to having those types of experiences. So I'm here for you. If there's anything I can do to support you, reach out and let me know. And thanks so much for being here. I'll be back on Thursday to talk about spiritual psychology. We are running through the principles of spiritual psychology, and I'm sharing how I use those in my recovery process. So I'd love to see you again on Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, you guys, thanks for being here. If there's any questions, let me know. I'll be posting an accountability post tomorrow. So I'd love for you to take action on this in some sort of way. So, how might you take action? You might write down, how am I going to get challenged? How am I going to take responsibility for myself? How am I going to stretch myself? You could go through these 3 things and make some notes for yourself and decide how, how this might look for you. There's no commitments. You just need to start exploring and be open to what comes up. Thanks for the likes and the hearts. I appreciate it so much, and I will talk to you soon.